I don't want to garden, don't want to tend the earth, don't want to possibly strain my back again, bending to pinch up weeds, drop them in my pail, carry them out to their resting place, barely able the next day to climb the stairs without wincing, without agonizing pains, muscles pulled like international relations, upset by political posturing, hamstrung. Those weeds will be back after the next hard rain anyway, defiant, persistent, rooted. Some days I don't want to hear the latest implosion, who's investigating who and what the talking heads say about it. I don't want to pay my taxes or my dues. I don't know what to say, how to diffuse the situation. I'm weary some days of burning out, though the need keeps pulling at the heart like a fishing lure. But some days the work is actually a relief, an unloosening of being too civilized, too selfish, a freeing. It's a fire for the shivering, a grounding for the unsettled, drawing me back to yet beyond myself, past the grave always staring at me in the face, transcending the daily news flash. Sometimes you just try to live your life, to more or less enjoy the ebb and flow of the status quo, but it never is, static that is. Everything is motion, Bruce Cockburn wisely sings. To the motion be true. Some days it seems like so much insidious commotion, like a bad accident waiting to happen, not being able to get any traction on a slippery banked mountain road. Steering wheel, don't fail me now. I still have an axe or two to grind with myself, still these dull garden shears to sharpen, so much to get done, so many flowering plants to lightly rake the soil around. And who has number one? My number one quote. Okay, we want to stand and just read that loudly, please.
In order to slow down climate change, we must solve four seemingly unsolvable problems. We must eliminate poverty. We must change the unsustainable lifestyles of so many of us. We must abolish corruption. And we must think about our growing human population. Jane Goodall, Time Magazine, September 23rd, 2019.
Summer of 14. I need to tell you how it felt, how far I fell, how I mourned for months, years, how I mourn still, that I'll never be the same. The building of my comfortable, lifelong, up until then paradigm imploded. How my sister in her love gave me intelligent yet ghastly summaries of another and another and another book to sketch out for me the accumulating disaster. Bill McKibben's Earth, After Progress by Greer, Joanna Macy's work, Jane Goodall's, so many others. In the end, the gist being there's too much carbon dioxide in the air, yet we're so dependent on oil, it's like we're setting snares for ourselves every time we drive or turn on the heat or buy things that have to travel far to arrive at our doorstep. This great ship that in so many ways has given us so much now threatens to bring about our extinction. How can we ever turn it around? Demonstrations, letters written and sent, legislators visited, votes campaigned for, votes cast, individual efforts to cut back, all of that seemingly not enough. At the same time was the Flint water debacle, a major California drought, populations of fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds cut in half while ours explodes. Trains carrying crude oil bursting into flames. My pluck, my buoyancy, my optimism crushed, drained out, floundering. This realization for each of us is like slamming into a wall, but we're not crash test dummies checking safety effectiveness. We're embodied in the fragile, in the real, in flesh and blood. Everything on the news after that, strikingly surreal. Everything my loved ones said to me then, more touching, more painful sometimes, taking into consideration this new, horrible perspective. But at least then, I knew I was still alive. I know for now, I still love and am loved. Who has number two? Who has the, oh, Dan in the back.
Self-reflexive consciousness is a function of choice making. Whatever the limitations of our life, we are still free to choose which version of reality or story about our world we value and want to serve. We can choose to align with business as usual, the unraveling of living systems, or the creation of a life-sustaining society. Joanna Macy.